Hello,
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 everybody.
everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back to we are already in season 3 and episode 2. Man, my fingers
Two,
going.
yes.
Okay, episode 2. And we're back with our second episode of HRTV for this season. I'm sure you are excited as I am, and we are. So today we have a very interesting topic. Wait, we always have interesting topics, right,
I
Ajit?
was about to ask you the same thing. When is our topic not interesting?
Exactly. It's always been an interesting topic. Anyways, today's topic is called effectively dealing with multi-generation. Oh, we're talking about generations this time. Workforce at work, and of course, we have yet another amazing speaker. And this time, we bring to you an international speaker that will tell us more about it. So you will get a really international perspective this time, lah. I'm
Yes.
definitely so excited to bring her in. But before that, Ajit, can you please explain a little bit about our show, especially to our new audiences? I see a lot of new ones joining in.
Yes, I see so many of them. The honor is all mine. Thank you so much. I am Ajit. How are you guys doing? Welcome to our show. Anyway, for those who are new here a little bit, we are called hashtag HR Intervents. It's commonly known as HR TV online talk show, brought to you by Compass Mind Asia, a well-known corporate training provider. I in the show and co-hosting it with Shireen. In our show, we will invite all HR experts to talk about anything and everything pertaining to people and also career development. Okay, today, last week we spoke about organization development, and for those who missed our talk, all our sessions are actually recorded and it's actually kept at Compass Mind Asia website. You can see it down there, and you can go and view all our previous episodes. Today we have an international guest, so please stay tuned and please participate and ask questions as we go along.
Yeah, that's a good one. So yes, go and check out our previous episodes and season. But you know what? After the show, not now, because we've got recordings there. Anyway, if you're still wondering whether this show is for you, this show is actually for anyone, everyone who talks, eats, grows, walks. Isn't that isn't that
Correct.
the terminology
Walk,
for
eat, grow, talk. Yes, about
every
people. Yes.
yeah, people. Anyone who
Yes.
has a job, looking for a job, getting a job, whether you are in whichever level, whether you are MD level, C level, business owner, fresh graduate, but really, especially if you're in HR and L&D department, this show is definitely for you. And many organizations have used the previous recordings to put into their library for their staff to go through. So because we have had so many very good topics and wonderful speakers who have shared so much of golden nuggets. And as always, we'd love to know who's watching. Let us know, let us know. And we've had audience from all parts of Malaysia, isn't it?
Yes, Shireen, don't forget it's Ramadan. So for those who are observing their fast, selamat berpuasa. And for those who are not, please do share what you're having for lunch. I see quite a number of them saying hi to us.
Yeah,
Yuan Chu, Jules, Elvina, all saying hi, hi, hi to everyone. Clarice, hi. Hi to Shireen and Koljit. Hi, hi, everybody.
I
Please
Wani.
do, yeah, please do bring in your comments.
Yeah, and let us know who is, since you guys are so excited and saying hello already. For those who have not said hello, please let us know where you're tuning in from. Give us a hi and let us know where you're tuning in from. Comment away because we really want to know. And anyway, this is really a very interactive session, so we want to hear from you. So keep the conversations coming. But before that, let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from. Hi, Chow Mei Jin. Welcome, welcome, guys, to the show. Arena. Yeah, we have a lot of
Ciao
new.
Mei Jian. Hi.
Mm. And Koljit.
Okay. Anyway, before we move on, my name is Koljit. I am the Human Resource APAC Director at Flexis. I have a full-time job. This is just supporting during my lunch break, and I have fun during this session. We would like to welcome everybody again for those who have just joined us. For those of our Muslim viewers, for our non-Muslim viewers, do let us know what you're having for lunch and where you are dialing in from. For those who are observing Ramadan, we wish you happy Ramadan and hope this Ramadan has been good. And do also share with us what is your Eid plans. So here, a question for Shireen and for everyone else. What is that one thing from your previous generation that you love and cherish when it comes to the Ramadan? We're
Ajit,
back. We're back. Yes.
we're back. You were asking me a question just now, but before that, you know what? Before you ask me that question, give me a second. I want to welcome people who are tuning in from Singapore and also the parking lot.
Do we have
We
anyone in
have
parking
Cheng
lot?
Neo from Singapore and Kuti from the parking lot about to drive off. Kuti, please drive safely and focus on the road. You can hear us, but please don't look at us. Stay safe. Koji, what was your question to me again?
Okay, my question was I want to know one thing that you can remember or cherish from your generation that you do during the Ramadan month. What's
Ramadan
important?
mana?
Yeah,
If
I
you
have
ask,
some. I have
if
something.
you have, you
Yes.
share it, then maybe I can copy you because my excitement
You
is
know,
always during the Eid celebration.
yes, for me, Ramadan month is the Pasar Ramadans. I enjoy the Pasar Ramadan. I mean, I don't fast. I apologize to everyone. A bit hard for me to fast. I try. But again, I enjoy the Pasar Ramadans. I go out, I shop, I buy lots of food. And that is the time when you get everything at one stop, and you get many Pasar Ramadans around us. You go to KL, you go to Subang, you go to Sunway, you go everywhere. You get Pasar Ramadans. So I really enjoy the Pasar Ramadans during the Ramadan period.
Talking about that, right? Cheng Neo, En Cheng. Since you're from Singapore, let us know if you do have this kind of Pasar Ramadan around there. And we'll also ask our speaker later, who is an international speaker, whether this Pasar Ramadan thing is an international trend or something we are luxurious to have it in our own country.
Yes,
So
yes, would love to know that.
let's copy your answer. That the best thing during Pasar Ramadan is the Pasar Ramadan. My favorite from there is always the ayam percik. What's your favorite?
Exactly, mine too. I was about to say the same thing. Oh my God, great mind thinks alike. Ayam Pencet is the best, man. Is the best.
So let us know, guys, who is in love with ayam percik too and joins Ajit and myself in that love for ayam percik. Let us know in the comment below. Anyway, Kojin, before we actually totally miss out on the point for today because we're so excited it is the Ramadan month, I think it's
Exactly.
time we invite our guests. What do you think?
Yes, yes, that would be good.
Okay, let me introduce a little bit about her. She is Shazia. I will let you guess where is she from because she's not a Malaysian. Shazia Shahbaz. She's actually a corporate human resource professional known for actually doing the balancing act between people and organization. I actually kind of like that when someone balances both. Over the past 17 years, Shazia has served a diverse portfolio in, I'm going to let the beans out of where she's from, Pakistan, across the service sector, FMCG, and pharmaceutical industries, both national and also the MNCs. during the interval, during the initial 5 years, she honed expertise in key business functions such as supply chain, operations, project management, market research, and business development. Shazia has proven to be a change management pro, especially during critical transformation, restructuring, and acquisition at Novartis, Pakistan during recent years. So she's got so much to share with us. Over the course of 12 years, she has been leading people driven roles with an objective of organizational development, OD, and culture transformation.
Wow.
Yeah, she's won actually quite a few awards, multiple global region and country awards while working as head and PMO Novartis, Sandoz, and GM HR of OBS Pharmaceutical Group. Let you know about her highlights and her achievements, which are really amazing, guys. She had the Star Award Best Business Partner in 2021 for leading people strategy during divestment. She also won awards in International Region and Asia Culture Award 2020 for being outstanding business transformation. Increased gender diversity by 3% to 16% in the years of 2019 to 2020. Enhancing associate engagement more than 80 to 90%. That is amazing. 3 year certification by Top Employer Institute in 2019, 2020, and 2021 by
Wow.
certified at European standard. Well, she's got a lot of great stuff to share today, man.
Exactly, exactly. Fantastic.
And also the Global HR Excellence Award Rising Stars in 2017. So, guys, well, you can't give her a round of applause to invite her in, but Ajit and I are going to give her a round of applause. You guys give her hearts and likes. Please help me
Yes.
welcome Shazia.
Saskia.
Hello, good morning,
Hi,
good
hi,
afternoon.
Saskia. Thank
Hello.
you.
That's
Yeah,
Shazia.
thank
Do
you for
you say
being.
good morning?
Yeah, so good morning
What time
or
is
good
it?
Pakistan,
afternoon.
Pakistan is 2 hours behind, so they are still in the morning.
You
Good
can call it,
morning.
yeah. It's 10 12 right now.
Yeah.
So we are in the morning phase right now.
Ah,
Okay.
And thank you very much, Sharon, for all your kind words and the details. Very humbling.
Okay, thank you very much, Sadia, for joining us today for our award. We are so honored to have you, and I am so impressed to hear what Sharin has told about you. My God, you have got so many awards. So I'm sure that we will have a wonderful sharing session today. Then let me allow you to present or introduce yourself a little bit more. Probably you can share with us something that Sharin did not share, be about your hobbies and things like that. Over to you, Shazia.
Thank you very much, firstly, for inviting me to the show. I know that this show has been actually watched by the professional organization and the people out there. So I hope that I again meet the expectation of the audience that you have with you. As for my introduction, you have rightly said that I started career like almost 17 years back. Likewise, every student, I was not sure that I would be landing in HR. But yeah, I started working in different domains like supply chain and event management and different projects, even the business development as well. By the time I was also studying back in 2007, back in 2007 to 2010, I was doing my MBA, and along with that I was working in different facets of the organization. But yeah, I think it happens to many of us that when you study, you explore, so you get to know that what suits most to your personality and technical skills that almighty has given to you. So by the time I realized that I can do good in HR, because it suits my personality as well as my thought processes. So in 2010, I was graduated as MBA in HR by doing majors in that. And then I joined a FMCG organization. It's a local group in Pakistan. So right there, I got the opportunity to, right from the scratch, create everything, like whatever comes in the HR ambit, like policies, procedures, having the compensation, recruitment, and talent strategy and all. So I worked there almost for 5 years. But yes, then I got an opportunity in Novartis. It's a multinational organization. So I was actually heading the entire Sandoz division as the country lead, or you would call it head people and organization. I joined as head HR, but then there was a global terminology that was being changed, and that could rightly depict the role that people and organizations. So I was actually then elevated to that role. So I worked there for almost again 5 years till to 2021. And then in Pakistan, you would might know that in pharmaceutical there is a quite good development that you would see that local groups acquire or do divestment with the MNCs. So that group was divested to a local group, that is OBS, that you can see there. And then I worked there almost like 1.5 year as well, and there I was actually elevated as general manager HR. So
Wow.
it's a pretty much short introduction.
Okay, thank you very much.
You
Thank
want
you
to
very
share
much, Sazia.
something about your hobbies, Shazia?
Yes,
It's
a
nice
little
to
bit about your
know.
hobbies.
Yeah,
We
about
know we can see your glory. We want to know a little bit about your personal part, your hobbies.
So hobbies, you would finally like as you know that I'm also like Asian, so I like to dine out, like
Ah,
good food. Or
nice,
every time
nice.
when I get the opportunity, so I go and you have the good food, whatever available. And then yeah, I also do different. Nowadays I've started something differently. I'm doing some. In Pakistan, there is a big community that goes to the work life sector, the corporate sector. So what I did that I had this thing in my mind that I recently started doing a podcast series with the
Oh,
yeah with the
nice.
corporate people in Pakistan. So it's all about the productive and healthier discussion, like giving the opportunity to the people to know how they can excel in their careers. Yeah.
Perfect, fantastic, fantastic. That's such a noble thing. Okay, before we go on further with our topics, let's look at some comments from our audience. Wani responded that she enjoyed buka puasa with her family and so excited waiting. Now berbuka puasa with her husband, with my
husband.
husband feels so different. Ha, ha, ha. Oh my god. Okay, good, good. Okay, that's another one. We have Naima. She loves gulai kawa daging and roti bomb. Oh my god, roti bomb is another one that I like as well. Okay, En Ching responded, yes, we do. Yes, we do. They do have Pasar Ramadan in Singapore has many bazaar open during Ramadan. Most famous one would be
Geylang.
Gelang Serai. Okay, fantastic. Sherin, once we are down, we should also try that area. We are going next week, next month,
Next month.
during our trip. Yep, but they will not be Pasar Ramadan, but we try something else. Okay,
Yeah,
coming back to our topic, and fantastic, Sazia, for the introduction. I think you did a very good introduction, and you shared food. It's a common uh, shared joy by all. Me and Shireen are always on the boat when it comes to food. You never miss us. We will be right in front, sharing and enjoying the food. Okay, coming back to our topic today, we are going to talk about multi-generation. How are we going to manage them? You find workforce diversity a very common thing in any companies and in anywhere that you do, not only in companies but also in your personal life. You have got various type of friends, and it comes with different challenges. Let us now together pick Shazia's brains on strategies and effective management styles on how we could use to manage this multi-generation workforce. We also would ask Sazia to share with us some of the strategies and the challenges that it's used in order to get this multi-generation to collaborate together and to actually produce better results. In other words, create a performance-based organization. Now, without further ado, let's move on with our topic. Shall we go, Shireen?
definitely. I can't wait for all our questions to be answered. And not only our questions, we'll have loads, I'm sure, from the audience also. I also would like to welcome Audrey. I see she say hello, hello, beautiful people. Hi,
Hi,
Harjit,
Audrey.
Il. Welcome. It's so nice to see so many new people today. Um, I'm actually, I don't know why, Ajit. Deviate a little bit. I don't know why husband keeps coming to my mind because he's and Theo keeps coming to my mind because they are our regular viewers.
But I don't see them today. Are they in?
Yeah, exactly. They might come in later. They're probably busy
Yeah.
with work. So let's move on to the first question. Shazia, are you ready?
Please bring it on.
Okay. Okay, what does it mean by the multi-generational workforce and why is this topic being regularly spoken about in these current times?
Yeah, that's, I think, thank you very much for putting this up. In fact, this is something that we should actually know before coming to the topic. Yeah. So, multi-generational, if I give you an example of Pakistan, generally, so, okay, no, now let me put it like this. So, in multi-generational workforce, we mean that people who have, experience in different generational phases. For example, generally in like around the world, we nowadays have the generation X, generation Y, and nowadays the talk of the town is generation Z. Yes, generation X would not be, I think, that much active maybe in the industry nowadays. But then yes, then you can say generation Y is more on the decision stage, and then Gen Z is something that is coming in. If I give you an example of Pakistan, Pakistan is a youth oriented country. We have almost 63% of our population is youth. It's like you can say not more than 25 of the age. So
Oh,
and it's a heavily populous country. And on the other part, if I talk about, for example, the people like me who are actually at the senior position in the organization, they generally belong to the, we call that millennials or the generation Y. So those are the people who are actually on the other side of the table, and the generation that is coming in, it is mainly the generation Z that we call them. So we have different segregations. If you Google that, so you would find like with the difference of 1 or 2 years, you would see that the generation X is basically the people who are born between the years 1946 to 1964. And then if we talk about the millennials, so those are the one who are actually 1980 to 1994. And then generation Z is 1995 to 2012, and somewhere it is called 2010. So, and you would see that if I talk about the Generation X, so those are the people who are at the MD level, or maybe the CEO level, or the C level positions. And then we come to the millennials. They are actually on the departmental head positions, or maybe the CHRO or head of HR. So these are the people generally you would find them like between the age bracket of till 40s, in their 40s. And then the generation who is coming in the organization is the one who, like, in their like 25 to 30 years of the age, like when they come in the organization, and then they spend some more time. So why this topic is necessary is actually, if I give you again the example of my country. So what happens that when the fresh graduates, when they graduate and they are actually looking up and into their full energy, they have big dreams for the role and the organization when they come. So the people who treat them or manage them are the ones, in general, they are from the generation Y, that is the millennials. So therefore, and both of them have little different upbringings, different culture orientation, different work culture experiences. So so at that time we really need that both the people have that commonalities or the understanding of each other, so that they can leverage each other's experiences and the qualification. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, that's wonderful.
sorry, I
Ajit?
was on mute. Interesting, interesting. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I think there's a lot. You said the population, the youth population is about 63% in Pakistan. I believe there is also a plus point and a minus point there. When there are too many young people, they think differently. Okay, what are some of the benefits and challenges of having multi-generation workforce at your workplace? You know, from your perspective.
Yeah. So, we talk a lot about the diversity thing, right? So, diversity and inclusion. So, generally, what we do that for by diversity, we think that it's actually only about the gender diversity.
Mm.
It's like the major thing that comes into our mind, but it's not limited to that gender only, right? So, when we talk about any organization that intends to perform healthier and longer run, they would always encourage diverse field force with them, diverse people in the organization. So if we talk about the diversity, so it also goes with the generations, right? So you have people from different age brackets. For example, if we have people, some of them are in their 50s or 60s, some of them are like 30s and 40s, and some of them are like in 20s of their ages. So now you have different brackets and at the different hierarchy levels.
Mm.
So yeah, the benefit is enormous if the organization makes the culture in a way, or the work tactics in a way that they can leverage like all the characteristics of different generations. So it would always add up to the organization's value, and bring a very harmonious kind of environment that would help everyone to deliver their best. And whatever the resource you have in the organization, the best is the human resource. So if you take best out of them, so that would definitely add up to the organization performance. Yeah.
Mm. Awesome answer.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
I posted something, Shireen, to myself.
Oh no,
Comment.
I was laughing here having a good you chatting on your own.
Yes, I
Anyway,
was.
yeah. Shazia, how can companies create a work environment that appeals to all generations, so without being biased at all?
Yeah.
Mm.
So it had, I would start right from the roots of the organization. You would agree, and the organizations who are healthier organizations, or the organization that we call them the learning organizations, what they do that they keep on working on their culture thing. I have also worked in the multinational organization. What they say whenever we are going to hire people from the outside, we always used to say that we need the best culture fit in the organization, right? We do
Correct.
need the skills, we do need the qualification, the best of the qualification, best of the skills. But if all that does not have the culture fit, so that will does not give benefit to both of them. So firstly, the culture part is the first thing that the organization needs to create, and then now how that culture would come into existence. The culture that takes benefit of every person in the organization is the transparency. First of all, you need to have the transparent kind of working pattern. For example, if I talk about the openness, the organization has an open culture, whatever the generation someone belongs to. So we have a culture that one can easily talk to the other person, regardless of their hierarchy. It's not like the long walls, and and the people that you need to knock first, and then you take the permission and talk to them. Yeah, for the courtesy it is right, but it's not that you should feel intimidated while talking to the person who is higher in the hierarchy, or the one who is like elder than you. So firstly, the culture of the organization, that matters a lot, and it comes from the values. I'll connect it back to the values of the organization, that what kind of values organization has. It also happens that organization has different values. Like for example, the common thing that you would see is like the respect, and the integrity, and the ethics, and the courtesy. These are the common things that you generally find in the organization values. Now the matter is that whether these are the values, those are only written in your company profile, or on the walls of the company, or you're actually practicing that. So it comes from the top to the bottom. For example, whoever is running the show, the CEO or the MD, or whatever the person who is in the C level and running the show, they would actually practice this thing. What they do, that they, whenever they meet the people, and walking by the floor, uh, and if they meet someone who is very senior, and if they meet someone who's very junior, if they treat them equally, fairly good manner, and give them the space to talk to them, this is how you start creating those kind of culture. uh, Secondly, the value. The one thing is the company values and the value that you give to your people. For example, if someone is older in their ages, so if the management, or the culture of the organization does not corner them, they bring them into all the kind of if you have the engagement activities in the organization, if you have what kind of discussions going on, if you include them in that, so that would start having the culture where everyone can come in and have their say. So this is how you can start working on that culture, and the culture then supports every field of the resource that you have.
Okay,
Mm.
fantastic. maybe I want to pick a little bit on this. I deviate a bit, Shireen.
Yes.
Shazia mentioned a bit about culture. She mentioned a little bit about the values of the organization. Okay, Shazia, my question. I was working in two different multinational organizations. I worked in few. Most of the organization which I work for, we went on by first names. We don't have formalities. It was respect one another, teamwork. So there's no formalities. Doesn't matter the person can be 50 years old or 45 years old or 25 years old. We go in by first name. We are all friends. And then I worked in another organization where the culture was a little different and it was a bit shocking to me as well, whereby we had to go by Mr. So and so, Mrs. So and things like that. So I was a bit shocked. But overall, the environment was nice, but they had a lot of this red tape and protocols and things like that. So which one do you think would be better, and which one would be more appealing to to for a diverse organization?
Interesting question. So, to me, if I share you my experience, so I was before joining Novartis, like being MNCs had the same culture that you mentioned. I was working in an organization there was a wonderful culture, in fact, even then, but they had quite overly courteous, that you would seek permission to talk to them, and you have time. First you would ask for the time, then you would knock the door, and then you go into that, and then you put something on the table and have the discussion. When I went to Novartis, like the MNC organization, so I remember the first time I wrote an email to my colleague. I mentioned Mr. So and so, so I need these details. So he immediately replied me back, okay, so there is no prefix needed. You can just call me with my name. So that was
Okay.
little, I was surprised that, okay, so this is how I need to change myself. So then I yeah it whatever, if you have worked first in the open environment, like that kind of frank, I would say the frank environment, and then you go to the other kind of dealing with the management styles. So if you ask me personally, I would say that because I have also spent a lot of time in that culture, that if everyone was calling with their first name, like whatever the age and regardless of whatever their designation is. So that is more appealing. Why? Because it gives you more space to connect with those people. Because I've
Ah,
seen their impact in the larger interest. Um, Again, I would not say that that culture is bad. That is also, if you have everything in place, if you have the transparency, if you have the respect to each other, then it's fine. Only thing that makes it wrong, when you only have that courtesy thing available for the C level positions and the juniors don't get that respect. So then it becomes a challenge. If you have, that's fine if you have that, quite overly courteous environment, but then that should be also be the same for the people who are the junior level in the organization. They should be equally respected. Then it's fine. But yeah, if you ask me personally, I have seen the impact of that open culture, that you call everyone with their name, because I've also worked in the MNC, and when I traveled to different countries, I traveled and I met the regional team members, the global team members. Imagine when I'm coming from Pakistan, and I'm directly addressing the global head of HR just with the name. Hi, hi Joe, or hi someone, and then I put my question. You see the level of connection then we have. You
okay.
surpass everything. So that's, to me, that's more positively impactful if you have that open culture. And one more thing I would add to it, with the passage of time in the world, in the global level, it's not only Pakistan. Things have changed. You would also agree that when we were studying in our schools, our teacher, we used to be very reserved to our teacher. We would never think of having the eye contact with them, talking to
Correct.
them at an equal level. But now, if you see the children nowadays, they
Yeah.
can talk to whatever the teachers, whatever the people out there, and they talk equally friendly. So this
Yeah.
is the change in the overall society. It's not the so if you do not match it with the organization, so it becomes quite surprising for the people who are practicing it at the home. But when they go in the organization, so you want them to be very, very restrictive. So over the time, the change has come. So all the organizations who adapt to that open culture would be more having the benefit of the people. Just my
Yes,
take.
fantastic, fantastic. I think what you said is precisely right. What is important is we liberate people, we liberate people's potential. So, like what you said in schools, now kids are much brighter, they are much smarter, they are much braver, they tend to produce better results, and they can do, they can climb higher mountains, I would say, you know. So
Yes.
thank you for your sharing. Fantastic.
Thank you, Miss Shazia, and thank you, Mr. Ajit, for the question. All right, I'm in a very playful mood today. So, anyway, before we move on, let's have some questions for the audience also. So,
Sure.
guys who are listening in, what are the generations that your workforce, what kind of generations you have in your workforce? Are there baby boomers, Gen Z? Let us know. We want to know what kind of diverse organizations you work in. I mean, if you're talking about a startup, then also let us know what kind of generations you have there. And of course, because this is an interactive session, like I said, if you have any questions or opinions, please do put it in the chat box because we would love to answer. And I like to say also, hello, Hazman, our avid viewer of the show. Welcome. Nice to have you back on.
Hello.
All right. Ajit, over to you.
Okay, moving on to our next question. What are some of the strategies of effectively managing communication and collaboration among different generations?
That's a
Yeah.
very good question.
It
Yes.
is. It is. So again, giving the real time examples, what happens that in the organization currently you have comparatively little chunk of people who are baby boomers, and then comparatively bigger from the millennials, and the major chunk nowadays is the generation Z. So if I put it like this, so these are the simple three generations that you need to deal with. So what I've seen over the time, that how you can engage them. Firstly, other than the roles that they are doing, it's like always good to have them included whatever the discussions you have. The management needs to have, firstly, that the point that I touched up, that the culture should be having say of all the generations they have. For example, whatever the surveys they are going to do, whatever the engagement activities you are going to do, whatever the new things are coming in. So the management or the HR, because they are the mainly custodian of these kind of activities, so they need to make sure that the representation of all the generation is there. Okay. But yes, definitely the ratio can vary. Maybe if you are making a team, so maybe for example there is an activity going on in the organization, so and you have a 6 people team, for example, you have just formed that. So at least one person from should be from the that senior level senior the baby boomer, or whatever the people you have in that age range, and then at least 2 people from the generation millennial, you call them, yeah, generation Y you call them, and then okay, like rest of the 4 people from the generation Z. So this is how you are having equal representation of the overall population in the organization that you have. So this is how they feel valued. If you do not have them in that discussion, have them in that whatever the activity, so they would feel that they are not needed, maybe in the organization, or they are ignored. Secondly, you would know that organization have different expert pool way of having engaging their senior people. For example, if you have baby boomers with you, and for sure you can never doubt their experiences, you can never doubt their qualification, their skill set. So organization also do this, that they make expert pool. For example, if they are not that much active in the daily routine work, they are not that much productive, you would say, having the daily tasks, or maybe if someone is head of sales, for example, and if they are from the baby boomer generation, and you see that they are not that much very actively going, they cannot go in the field every time, but they do have mental acumen, a large vast
Wow.
experience, 30 40 years experience. So what you make, you make them coach, you make them you connect 2 or 3 people, and you make them the expert pool. You can
Mhm.
call them mentors, you can call them coach, and then they can transfer their knowledge to the people, and equally, and then and you announce that mentorship program, you announce that coaching program. So the people who are younger, when they face similar kind of positions, they can go to that person, they can bring their problem, and both of them will feel valued. The person who have the problem, they have a door to knock, and the person who have experience, they have the liberty to transfer their knowledge and the experiences. So this is how organization take benefit of that. Lastly, if I talk about the generation Z, because you have major chunk of that, the major population, so you would definitely have to address them. For that, generally we all know, we have read that what they are interested in the flexible working environment, they are interested in the feedback thing, they are interested in little breaks, they want the purpose of their work. So the management needs to take care of these kind of things, that they have the purpose thing continuously being communicated by the management, they have the
Mhm.
feedback session in place, they have the career growth thing in discussions in the pipeline. So these are the things that would keep them engaged and interactive in the long term. Yeah.
Perfect. Well said.
All right, yeah. Especially
Couldn't agree more.
communication within different generations are so different nowadays. I
Yeah,
shared
yeah.
with you an experience I had the other day. A client said WhatsApps me a message and says, Shireen, do you do this training? A program name. No introduction, no company name, no nothing. No, it's just not even my name. Hi, do you do this training? I'm like, okay. Hi. Know who's on the other end. So
Yes.
then she introduces herself. So I asked which company you're from, and she says from which company. I say, okay, I'm in a meeting. I'll give you a call later to discuss on this program. What's the purpose of your call? Is the question back to me.
Really?
I mean, they don't pick up the phones and call. In fact, they just like the WhatsApps. So for me, I love WhatsApps. I'm totally glued to WhatsApps. But for me, the first mode of communication to build trust is a call. After that, it can go on WhatsApps from then on, isn't it,
You're right.
Shazia?
You are very right. This is something that, I also took time to, get adapted to. Nowadays, if the people you meet from the startups, they
Yeah.
are almost doing everything on their WhatsApp, like
The
the
WhatsApp chat.
quotations,
Yeah,
their everything, the MOUs and everything they're drafting on the phone, and they expect you to, have that focus on that phone only. I am not that kind of person. So what I do that I put that on the email and then go through that, so that I have that focus, because I'm not used to a work like that, but I'm adapting. These are the things that comes to you. You are very right, you very rightly put that example. This is how it is happening. Like
Yeah.
the generation there, they just need quick thing.
yeah,
They would
but
just
Shereen, I think you need to change. Voicemail. Now we do not need to call. You can leave a voicemail. You can. Hello, how are you? Can I know your name? Then you press go. That will also work.
I was in the middle of a meeting with a client and I'm getting this message. I'm like, okay, can I just ignore it for now? But I decided to give a small reply. Anyway, one of my favorite audience is also here. Theo. Hi, pretty Shireen. That's why he's my favorite. Mr.
Yes.
Cole and Shazia just rejoined again. Today, line very bad. Oh, very bad here. Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess he's out of town then because in the
Okay.
city over here, line is pretty good. I think he's probably out of town. Uh,
hmm.
Shazia, my next question to you. What are some effective approaches for transferring knowledge and expertise from, the ones longer in the organization over to the ones who are fresh in the organization?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like in the last question, the first thing is actually, firstly, the organization needs to value them and put them little in the segmentation. Okay, where when you call them, these are the expert pool, these are the people who are running the show, and these are the people that is the major chunk of the organization, those are the doers, right? So after identifying from the HR perspective or the management perspective, once you have identified your generations, then you need to create different ways of engaging them. As I mentioned about the coaching and mentoring thing, so the organization, even now, organization does not have that formal mentoring programs, formal coaching programs. So if the organization introduce that, for example, if a sales organization is there, it's a larger organization, you have hundreds and thousands of people in the organization, so you can advise, you can dedicate someone as a coach to them, or the mentor to them, so that people can come and address whatever the queries they have. In this way, you would also have the pulse check of the organization. And secondly, the organization needs to do the firstly, they should also conduct different surveys, call them the pulse surveys, and having their feedback on that. So whenever you have the pulse survey, for example, whatever the initiatives the company is taking in, when the pulse survey comes in, so you then interpret that. You have the call for action, then you see, okay, what kind of people are giving what kind of feedback for certain things. When you have that in you, so then you need to devise the action item, that how you're going to address that. And then for example, the engagement activities play a lot of bigger role in that part. For engagement activities you can do, for example, there are two ways I would say. Firstly is, for example, if you are having your values and behavior session, if you are going to have some kind of a day celebration in the organization. So when you make a team, what you do, that you make every representation into that I just mentioned. And lastly, whenever you are going to have the for example, focus group discussion, the organization have, if you have that kind of organization, you should bring different ideas. For example, you can have an ideation session in the organization, whatever the current challenge in the organization is. You can put that question to different group of people, and then have a like 1 hour session for the brainstorming, for whatever the discussion is. And then when the ideas come in, when the solutions come in, you just put them into different brackets, and then you value them in that. And of course, when you have all these activities and back to back in the organization, that create a wonderful impact on the people. And secondly, you need to train your people as well. What happens when you have the senior people in the department head level position, the senior positions, and on the other part you have the Gen Z. So I think your HR or whatever the person who is running the show, there needs to be very, very mindful of the fact that there could be a clash. There need to be a constant trainings. Why I'm saying this, because if I talk about my country, we have like 60% more is a youth. I used to tell in my organization that we cannot escape that. We are the one organizations, we are at the receiving end. The people who are coming, you cannot change that. You won't import the resource from any other country. These are the people, those would come in the organization. This is the only thing that you have, the only options. Now the organization needs to create a kind of a culture, or create that kind of harmony, that kind of flexibility into that, so that they can take benefit of that. You cannot change the resource, but you can change the way of having the benefit of them. So for example, what address them is the flexible working environment they want. Even in nowadays, there are not every organization is that flexible. For example, minute to minute they would count things. These generation is not like that. They would need flexible working things. They would need, for example, if they have not done something good, they would need the feedback on that. So the constant training at the first part, the senior positions, the generation Y, the generation X, if you have in the organization, so you need to train them. Okay, what kind of people are coming in, and how you need to train them, how you need to deal with them. And likewise, whenever the generation Z is there, so you also need to and also there's a need to make them a little tame, uh, have them little patience. So for that, how that can be done, that can be only done by the communication. You cannot just keep on firing people. For example, some people came, you see, okay, they are not good culture fit, and you just let them go. Then some other lot come, then they go. This is how the company would never be able to create a culture. Whatever the generations they have the questions, the issues, you need to communicate, you need to talk to them. Let them bring their questions, whatever the burning question they have, whatever the issues they have. In HR, we are trained, we are always trained. When someone brings their issues, just listen to them. If you listen to that, at least 50% is resolved. So
All right.
you need to have a channel in the organization. Whatever the challenges they have, they come to you, they talk to you. Whatever the desk could be, that could be a mentor desk, that could be a coach desk, that could be a head of HR. But they should be access, they should be having access to someone who can listen to them. So this is how you can leverage their skills. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I think Shahja shared a lot about training, having the right culture, having the right mindset, having flexibility,
Yeah.
looking into allowing employees to, the environment to be a little bit more flexible, no hour to hour calculation, minute to minute calculation. focus, in other words, focus more on productivity than onto the actual time that they spend in the office. That should be the way forward. Fantastic. We have a few more minutes with our guests before we end the show. But here's a question to all our audience. After hearing about multi-generation workforce, do you think it is important to come up with a strategy to create an effective environment? Is it important? So our audience, please do share with us your opinion. Do you think is there need to be a strategy on that? Okay, moving on. And anyway, if you have any questions, also please feel free to post, so that we are able to share that with Sazia, and Sazia is able to answer those questions as well. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
All
Shireen,
right.
next
Yep.
question.
So, my next question to you, what role does leadership play? I mean, besides the coaching and the mentoring, in effectively managing a multi-generation workforce, and what are some effective leadership strategies for achieving this?
Okay, so yeah, so I can give you some example. For example, in from if you have the in pharmaceutical, we had a larger sales organization with us. So there's a thing that you call project management. The projects play a vital role, in engaging multiple people in multiple ways. What we used to do in that way, for example, the leadership. Firstly, as I mentioned earlier as well, that first you need to bracket your people. You should know that what kind of people in your team are, whoever the leaders who are running their show. For example, if head of sales or head of marketing, though they are coach and mentors, but what they need to do, first they need to understand the audience. First they need to understand the team segmentation in their own team, right? What kind of behaviors they have and how they need to treat them. And then they need to and the leadership plays a vital role to, managing them in different ways. It's not that one stick cannot solve everything. It's not that you deal everyone with one stick and, having the same managerial style. We talk a lot about, different leadership behaviors. The people have different leadership styles, and for example, some people are democratic, some people are, autocratic leadership, some have the friendship kind of leadership. So nowadays we call it situational leadership or behavior leadership. So now the leaders need to understand firstly that how they need to change their behavior to deal with different kind of people. For example, if you have five people in your team and they are from different generations, so you need to understand that what appeals them. For example, if you have someone from generation Y, they are the people who are job hoppers. They would not need regular feedback, but they would need maybe a little word of encouragement. So if you deal with them like that, at times occasionally meet them and treat them in that way, they would always be happy. And then if you have people from the generation Z, you know that you need to have a communication around. You need to have continuous feedback discussions. So now the leadership, I think, objective or leadership requirement is to situationally adapt. Whatever the team members they have, they need to adapt their leadership style according to them, so that they can take the maximum benefit out of that. And then projects, play a lot of role in that. For example, I can give you example. We had some a very you can say the generation X person with us. He was a top performer in sales, right? He was top performer in sales, doing really good. But he also came into multiple assessments, but he could not qualify for the, he didn't have the managerial skills with him, but he was top performer. This is a typical example that how you deal with those people. You cannot just ignore them. They have, a lot of desires. They have, dream to come into the senior position, but uh, for any reason they don't have that skills. So what we do used to do, then we make them, we pick their strength. Now you go by the strength. For example, if they have the wonderful presentation skills, or they have the wonderful product knowledge, if they have wonderful selling skills, so we make them coach or the lead for the rest of the team. So their thirst of being recognized is also addressed, and other people are, going to that person and having their questions answered. So this is how you are engaging that person. This is one example. This is how you can make different projects. You can take out their strength out of them. So this is how you can, engage with different people with their strength based approach, and then that sums up in a very good way in return.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, we seems to be coming to an end of our session. Let's take a last question. To sum up, how can companies leverage on diversity of multi-generation workforce to enhance innovation, innovation, productivity, and overall company's performance?
Yeah.
Mm.
And before that, yes, we have one comment from Hazman. Yes, it's important to have a specific strategy. Yes, we agree on that. Thank you for sharing with us. Okay, Sazia, over to you for our last question.
Thank you, Hasmit. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, that organizations have nowadays, I would say the organization has have a bigger responsibility on their shoulders. So, why I'm saying this, when you also speak to listen to different. If I was also listening to Simon Sinek, he was saying someday that likewise the parents, the organization also have some responsibility. When you have different, children with different behaviors, you need to treat them in different manner. You need to learn that
Right.
how to deal with, in the different ages. Likewise,
Correct.
organization does should not, I would say, should not only put that on their shoulders, that the people who are coming in, they should also think of having the little empathy into that. Okay, this is our resource, this is our asset. We can take maximum benefit of them, their resources, their mindset, their knowledge, but we need to also adapt a little bit. For example, I also mentioned previously, but they need to create a culture where they feel valued, where they feel valued. And it is like regardless of the generation, y, x, or z, whatever, you need to create an environment where they are valued, everyone is having the same fair value. Secondly, you need to create some, for example, you need to give them assignments, you need to give them projects as per their own skills, so that they feel, again, that they're contributing to the organization. And third thing is very much important, that we tag the purpose thing with the generation z, but it's not the only thing that is, the only link to the generation z. If the management or the organization keep on, sharing their purpose, sharing their long-term objectives with the people from whatever the generation they are, it would definitely connect them with the larger purpose of the organization, and they would come up with the better ideas, with the better contribution, and they would definitely do it. So I would say that having them valued, having them engaged, and having little flexibility into the working ways of the organization would definitely having a positive impact. And third, the last thing that I would say, that you need to have the open communication channels, because the generation Z that is coming into the organization, they need to talk. They need to talk to the people. It's like for a very minor thing, but they would need someone to listen to them, and they can bring their issue to them. So if we organization had these kind of access, these kind of little adaptabilities. And one more thing that I would say, that it doesn't require any cost. It doesn't cost organization anything. It's just a mindset that they need to change. If they do that, it would be definitely helping for all the generations in the organization.
Hmm.
Fantastic. I think what Saja said was spot on. Create the value, make sure that, and then have projects, allow people to be included as part of the organization, and also keep sharing the purpose so that people are on board. Give them time to digest the purpose. Some may take a little longer time to understand. And what is most important here is have an open communication channel. I
Yeah.
think that's the best summary that we could sum this topic up with. And now, thank you so much, Sazia. We have came to the end of our session for the day. So we would like to thank Sazia very much for her insightful and very useful information shared and having a serious discussion with us today. And again, thank you, Sazia. Thank you very much. Hope to catch up with you soon one day once I am Shireen comes to Pakistan. To our audience, we would like to thank you all who have been with us, and thank you for watching, and thank you for signing on as well. And without you guys, we would not be here. And for those who are our forever fan, please, this is not farewell. We will be having season 3, episode 3, HRTV soon. So stay tuned next month. And for those who missed our channel, our program today, this is going to be posted at Shireen's websites, all her social medias. So please do feel free to watch our recorded sessions. Thank you very
Thank you
much,
very much for having
Sazia.
me too.
Yeah.
Thank you very
And
much for having me, and it was wonderful discussion with all of you. I've also learned a
and
lot.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Shazia. And to the audience, if you are, any of you are HR and L&D who are planning for your soft skill trainings, do drop us an email at training@compassmind.com. Before we end, we would like to wish all of you a wonderful week ahead. And for those Muslims, selamat berbuka puasa, selamat berpuasa, selamat berbuka
Berbuka
puasa. And
puasa.
because we will be coming on before Raya, we like to wish each and every one of you celebrating Hari
Selamat
Raya. Selamat
Selamat
Hari
Hari Raya.
Maaf Zahir and Batin from all
Batin.
of us at HR TV. We look forward to seeing all of you really soon. Thanks and see you soon.
See you
Bye
soon. Thanks,
bye.
Azia. Selamat Hari
Bye bye.
Raya. Selamat berbuka puasa.